Yo, hey, welcome back to the Cop Kitchen. I'm Dave Sheppy. So today, in the Cop Kitchen, I'm going to make a chocolate cake. But not just any chocolate cake, a birthday chocolate cake. My birthday chocolate cake. Yep, today's my birthday, April 4th, and I'm going to make a cake for myself. But I was torn because I also like cheesecake. So I said, what can I do? Well, I'm going to have both. I'm going to make a chocolate cake, cheesecake cake with a chocolate buttercream frosting on it. You'll have to see what I do when I put all this together. I'm going to add some other stuff too. Should be interesting. Should be yummy. We'll see. So, like I always say, without further ado, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to make is the cheesecake. So what I did is I have a 9-inch, I believe it's a 9-inch springform pan. I sprayed the inside and I cut a round piece of parchment paper to put on the bottom. We're not going to make a crust for this, and I'll show you why when we get to that. So for the cheesecake, what you're going to need is 2 8-ounce packages of the cream cheese, room temperature, 2/3 cups of white granulated sugar, just a pinch of salt, I'm using kosher, 2 large eggs, room temperature, 1/3 cup of sour cream, 1/3 cup heavy cream, a teaspoon, I usually put just a dab bit more, of vanilla. Also, you can preheat your oven to 350 degrees. When we get ready to bake this, we'll bake it for about 45 minutes. So, first things first, let's cream the 8 ounces, or 2 8-ounce packages of the cream cheese. Put it in a medium-sized bowl. I'm going to use a hand mixer for this. You can certainly use a stand mixer. If I'm making one that has the 4 packages of cream cheese, I'd use a stand mixer. Okay, we'll just give it a quick stir, and then we'll pour it into our springform pan. I'm going to put the springform pan in this silicone holder so that I don't have to wrap the pan like normal, what you usually would do with cheesecake, wrap it with aluminum foil. I will put a link in the description for this. It's a lot easier than wrapping it with the aluminum foil. And I've already got my pan in the oven with the hot water in it. I usually give it a little tap just to get all the air bubbles. And you can see some of them have come to the top. Not a big deal. So, to the oven we go. Timer set, 45 minutes, 350 degrees. Oh, and then we'll start making the rest of it, like the chocolate cake part. Ooh, it's gonna be good. See you then. Okay, so it's out of the oven. I'm going to take it out of the silicone, put it on the cooling rack, and then we're going to cool it for about 10 minutes. And then I'm going to put it in the freezer. Yep, I'm going to put it in the freezer for about several hours, probably overnight. And when I come back, you're going to see what I'm going to do with it next. Okay, the cheesecake's been in the freezer overnight. So now we're going to go ahead and start with the actual chocolate cake part of it. Before that, shout out to my grandson, Jackson David Sheppy, who apparently is my #1 fan and loves to watch Papa cook. So this one's for you, buddy. Love you. So, the ingredients for the chocolate cake. You're going to need 1/2 cup of sour cream. You'll need 1 cup of buttermilk. 3 large eggs, room temperature, 1.5 cups of strong coffee, 3/4 cup of vegetable oil, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 2/3 cups of sugar, just regular white granulated sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1 teaspoon of kosher salt. So, with all that, here they are. This is the ingredients. Go ahead and pause and write them down. This is not your box cake mix that you bought from the store. This is a homemade one. Bunch of ingredients, but it's gonna come out moist and yummy. So, without further ado, let's start putting this together. We're gonna start with all the wet ingredients, and we're just gonna put them all right in one bowl. We're gonna whisk that together. And did you know you can freeze buttermilk? It'll last a couple months. Okay, I'm gonna set that aside. Dry ingredients. I've got 3 cups of the flour in my stand mixer bowl. Get that all mixed together. Good. Okay, now we'll add the wet ingredients to the dry. I'm going to put it on my stand mixer and I'll be right back. You can just whisk this by hand, I suppose. Doesn't take very much. And that's why you go really easy. Okay, so the batter is done. It's a very thin batter. It's not like those box cake mixes where the batter is a little thicker. It makes the cake very moist. So now I'm gonna prepare. I'm using 8-inch cake pans, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, so I have 8-inch pans, 2 inches high, straight sides. I have sprayed them with non-stick cooking spray. You can use butter, and then I dusted them with some flour to prevent them from sticking. I also use these, what they're called, cake strips. They're just cloth. You soak them in water, and you put your cake pan in it, around the cake pan. This prevents the cake from making that dome, especially if you're going. This is going to be a two-layer. This will also keep it from browning too much around the edges. They're pretty cool. I'll leave a link down in the description. You can get those on Amazon. A little runnier. Okay, in the oven we go. I've got exactly the same amount in each one of them. It's about 712 grams if you want to know. But in the oven we go. So they're in the oven for about 35 to 40 minutes, probably going to be closer to 40 minutes. Again, the old toothpick in the middle. You know how to test cake. So I'll be back. So out of the oven, done. As you can see, they pull away from the side just a little bit, telling you that they're cooked perfect. So I'm going to let them cool on the cooling rack for about 10 minutes. Then I'm going to invert them and then let them cool completely. And then we'll start on that chocolate buttercream frosting. I shall return. Okay, they've been cooling for about 10 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and invert them and see how they come out. This could be problematic, I just want you to know. We'll see how quick I am. Voila! Perfect. Okay, as soon as they cool, we'll get started on the chocolate buttercream frosting. See you in a little bit. So I'm making a chocolate ganache that I'll be using in the cake. The way to do that, I'm using 1 cup of dark chocolate chips and about 3/4 cups of, I've got a mixture of whole milk and heavy cream. And I heated it in the microwave for about 1.5 minutes. You don't want it to boil, but you want it to be pretty pretty hot. Just pour it over the chocolate chips. Let it sit for a minute. Okay, gonna let that cool. See it a little bit. Okay, so the cakes have cooled completely. So the cupcakes. And so let's get started on that chocolate buttercream frosting. What you're going to need for the frosting is 1.5 pounds of powdered sugar, 1.5 cups of unsalted butter, that's 3 sticks, 1/4 cup heavy whipping cream, 1/4 cup of cocoa powder, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 1 teaspoon of espresso or really strong coffee. That's optional. I'm not going to use it. 1/4 teaspoon of salt and 1/4 cup of semi-sweet chocolates. And that's going to be melted with a couple tablespoons of the heavy cream to make a ganache. I've already done it. I showed you how I did that. I made a little extra. So I'm just going to use some of that when we get to that part. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is cream the butter. I've got a paddle attachment to my stand mixer, and we're going to mix this for about 5 minutes. Okay, once that's creamed, we're going to sift our powdered sugar. And okay, once it's all sifted, we're going to add the sugar to the butter a little at a time. Okay, that should do it. It looks like it's the right texture and consistency for piping. Here comes the crazy part. Assembling. A lot of stuff going on here. I added a bunch of extra stuff, like some strawberries while you guys are sleeping. I made some strawberry sauce, thickened it. We're going to put that in there. Made some ganache. We're going to put that in there. The cheesecake out of the freezer. Take the cover off, frozen. Tip it up, clean hands. Remove the bottom. And eventually the paper can be tricky. Take the paper off. And for now, I'm going to set it back on the pan. And you got to do this all before it gets too soft. You can put it back in the freezer if you need to. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little strawberry sauce. This will be the first layer up. And the cakes are flat, so it should stack okay. Now comes the interesting part. Because frozen right on top. Okay, once you put the cheesecake on, you're working kind of quick, but it'll stay frozen. If you made a 8-inch cake and a 9-inch cheesecake, you may have to trim it up a little bit. Like putting the 8-inch cake pan over the top, just cutting around. Yep, I had to do that. So what's next? Ooh, bit of the ganache on this layer, on like so. So now what do you do? Well, this is where the buttercream frosting comes in. I have filled a piping bag full of the yummy stuff, and I'm going to snip the end off. About there. And then we're going to pick it up the sides, like so. So that's the finished first coat of the buttercream frosting. And now I'm going to do a couple more things to it. So I have some mini chocolate chips, and I'm just going to See if I can put those right up the side, like that. Just a little dollop. Spread it around. Just a little finishing touch is just a little bit of sea salt on the ganache. And we're done. Okay, so there it is. My birthday cake. Although when you see this, my birthday's probably already gone by a week or so. Chocolate cake, cheesecake cake. Let's cut into it, fingers crossed, see what it looks like. That's what I'm talking about. Plop that right down on a plate. Let's give it a little bit of a taste. I don't even know where to begin. There's so many layers to it. Let's get some of that cheesecake and the ganache. Oh my goodness. Whoa, it got that coffee, just a hint of the coffee in there. And the strawberry is the second layer up. Up top here, might as well check it out, is the buttercream frosting and the chocolate ganache. Oh, look at that. Excuse me for just a second. Sweet mother of pearl. The salt on the top, kicking in with the ganache that's on the top, in with that buttercream frosting. I just about ate half of that in 2 bites. Awesome cake. Probably the best one I've ever made. Give it a try. Like I said, a lot of moving parts to it, but I don't think you'll be disappointed with the end result. Now, I'm not going to eat all this, I don't think, but I'm sure I'll find somebody that will. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bells, and leave a comment down in the comment section. If you've given this a try, if you made it, let me know how you made out. But until next time, be safe out there. Wash your hands. I'm 10-7.